Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
Oh, you stupid motherfucker!
You're gonna find me dead! I'm gonna kill myself!
Hit the fucking guy! What the fuck is he doing?
I'm gonna be hanging from the bathroom!
They got the leg!
Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey Jerry. And it's finally time. Since we started this show, Jerry Don, about a year ago, this is our 1 year anniversary, and it was time we finally land QB1 Kenny Pickett for this one, Jerry Don.
Listen, it was always. It was always going to happen. It's just a matter of time. We had to give him the rookie season, get it under his belt. But now it's. I feel like when we want KP, we're going to get KP. So it's just how it's going to go.
It's a great interview. Kenny's super easy to talk to. Obviously, it helps that Jerry and I have hung out with him a few times. Jerry, obviously, significantly more than I have. So when we talk to him, the conversation's just easy. Kenny is super easy to talk to. He loves to talk ball. Sometimes Jerry and I will try and lead him down a path, pull some things out of him, but you can see how professional he is because he never takes that bait. Never takes the bait.
Nah, he won't take the bait. I mean, listen. There's a couple times in there where I'm like, oh, is he gonna say something? Like, nah, he ain't gonna say it. He ain't gonna say
He's a
it.
professional.
But no, it was a good interview. You know what I mean? It was a really solid interview. We got, a good outlook on some other guys that, don't really get mentioned as much, throughout the Steelers community. But, yeah, I think it went really well. I just feel like he's just in a zone right now. Just a different type of zone.
Laser focused, and you guys are going to love some of the things that he says. I mean, I had mentioned at a certain point in this interview that, is this a playoff team, Kenny? And he's not stopping it's not just the playoffs. We're not just looking to make the playoffs. Like, the goal is a Super Bowl. And to have that mentality that it's not just playoffs or bust, I love that. As Steelers fans, that's what we want to hear. It's not just about playoff wins. It's about titles. That's the only thing that matters. And you're going to love when Kenny gives you that line.
Yeah, I feel like for him, making the playoffs, winning a playoff game, making it to the AFC Championship game and losing is like a bad season.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, for how loaded the roster is, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's what it's going to be for the next few years, Super Bowl or bust.
Oh, yeah. People always talk about, if you got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, you could always get to an AFC Championship game. I think people are going to start to realize as long as Kenny Pickett's your quarterback, you're going to have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
And I love that the narrative has completely done a 180 from this time last year. Everything that people said, even halfway through the season, you have all sorts of, even the media in Pittsburgh now, your big buddy Mark Madden starting to have to walk back some things after this elite preseason Kenny's having. Now he's on the daily saying, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. It's not that important to me that he's having a good preseason. It wasn't that important to you, but you've been beating him like a dead horse for the last year that he was never going to be good enough. So they're starting to take notice.
You're talking about it. I mean, you mentioned the term walking back. That fat motherfucker's probably crawling back. I don't think that motherfucker can walk.
He can't walk it back at that point. Jerry, why are you in your car? Why the hell are you in your car, Jerry Don?
Getting the floors, can't stand on the floors, can't walk on the floors. They're getting stained today. So it kind of sucks, I don't really have access to my clothes, but I do have access to one of the best hats going right here. Unfinished Business. Shout out to Zeds over in Pittsburgh. Go get your gear from them. Good dudes, solid dudes. Best Steelers vintage in the game right now. Yep. It's cool that a lot of the players also go visit Zeds too, which is awesome to see.
They hook us up. So Zeds in Southside, make sure you guys stop down, show them some love, tell them the Still Here podcast sent you. They're big fans of what Jerry and I are doing. They're hooking us up all season, so we want to make sure that you guys return the love to them. And then shout out Total Sports Enterprise. They're going to be giving away a jersey for this episode, so as long as you retweet one of the links that Jerry and I put out, you'll qualify to win a signed jersey. And then they're hooking us up. If you need signed Steelers memorabilia, you should be looking at Total Sports Enterprises. They have the best in the business when it comes to getting you Steelers memorabilia. So check those guys out from there. Jerry and I will be back next week. So we'll be back next week. Supposedly, we're supposed to have Deontay. Is that correct, Jerry Don?
Listen, it's in the works right now. I mean, I got a confirmation this morning that Deontay will be coming on next Tuesday. So the episode will probably release, I don't know, Wednesday maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, Deontay's supposed to come on Tuesday, so that should be a good episode. You know, his team confirmed with me this morning, so it looks good. It looks solid. I don't want to make any promises. I'm going to put it at an 80% chance we got Deontay Johnson next week. I mean, let me just say this. This is the only Steelers podcast that you're getting these guests on. You're not getting them on any other. And listen, there's some great Steelers podcasts.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But I do listen to some of them. I'm actually going on another podcast, I think next week, called The Sick Podcast or something like that. Nice guys reached out to me a bunch of times. Finally got back to them. So I'm always down to collab with other people and other Steelers podcasts. But let me make this very, very clear. The Steel Here podcast is where you're going to get the guests. That's just what it is.
It's come a long way. The first year, I mean, we've figured some things out, ironed out some things on the back end. The show is finally cooking. It's going to be a big, big year, too, for us here at the Steel Here podcast. So we appreciate you guys rocking with us all this way. Next week, we'll do the Deontay episode, and then we'll start to also with the Deontay episode, we'll get into predictions, some game analysis for the Niners game, because Jerry Don, we're there, baby. It's showtime now. There's no looking back. We'll have an episode for you guys every single week now, breaking down the game. So some of the things Jerry and I have designed, you guys will enjoy this season for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll roll out the Deontay Johnson episode, and then I think we do a separate episode after that, and then just go through the schedule and make predictions. You know, we can give our, you know, offensive MVP of the year, defensive MVP of the year that we think, you know. So that'll be really cool.
Predictions. Yep. Next week will be our predictions episode. And then from there, we're up and running. So we appreciate you guys. Let's get into this Kenny interview. It is a blast. Like, comment, subscribe. Jerry, I'm actually going to upload this episode. We're going to have it on YouTube, but I'm also going to upload it directly to Twitter. So what we've come to realize is uploading the episodes in Twitter directly. If you're a Twitter Blue subscriber, you can upload the entire episode. That's where most of our base is. So it just makes sense that we upload the episode where it's a lot easier for people to get it quickly and instantly. So you'll be able to watch the episodes on Twitter. You'll find it on my Twitter, and then YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe, share it. We're taking this fucking thing to the moon this season, Jerry Don. Still here season 2. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys. Subscribe. You gotta subscribe. I mean,
have to subscribe.
You have to subscribe. You can't not subscribe. You have to subscribe.
We appreciate you guys.
I mean, if you don't subscribe, I'll scrap every episode we got planned. That's it.
Easy, Jerry. This is my life. I live for this shit. We're not scrubbing any episodes just yet here. Let's see how this thing turns out. But subscribing means the world to us. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you here next week. It's time to welcome to the show the legend of Big Red Country in Ocean Township, New Jersey. Year 2 QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 8, Kenny Pickett. What up, KP? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you for having me on.
There he is, KP, a good friend of mine, Kevin.
There you go, JJ.
It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to land him.
Oh well, listen, we landed him. We landed him big time. You know, one thing I will say is this, Kenny. I want to start off by saying this. If you ever buy a house, I don't want you to have the stress that I got right now. So, if you do plan on buying a house, I suggest you don't. If you do, I might have to do some damages to the house because I don't need you having the stress during the season.
Right, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Looking out for the team right there.
Yeah, put the team first, Jerry. I like it.
Team first.
Speaking of not having very much stress, KP coming off a fucking special preseason. I mean, 13 of 15, 199, 2 touchdowns, led the first string offense to 5 scores. I mean, realistically, though, what happened on the 2 incompletions?
I know, man. I got a lot to prove with the 2 incompletions. I had to get back to work.
Yeah, we were reading that is it true you went through and watched every incompletion of last season?
Yeah, I did. I had a good off season and wanted to really dive into the mental aspect of the game and our system and what I was doing well, what I wasn't doing well. So in order to do that, I had to go back and kind of run through everything and see what I needed to improve on. So I think it really helped me out, in the off season.
Do you think, Kenny, it's like, for you, is it like, just preseason, we got to do this in the regular season, or is like a good confidence booster that you guys had such a great preseason?
It's definitely a confidence. I mean, you're still going out. We played against the Bills once, and you're still out there playing against NFL players. I mean, you can't just kind of not ignore it. But I mean, there's positives in it. There's confidence that the offense was building. We were competing with our defense every day, who's a top defense in the league. So there's a lot of positives that you want to take from it, and definitely find some things that we can work on, which we did. And we have a week of prep coming up before San Fran, who the best defense in the league last year. So it's a good test week 1.
For sure. Something I was talking to Jerry about earlier. So 7 shots, for those that don't know, it's a drill in training camp where offense versus defense, 7 plays, pretty much. I think is it at the 2, Kenny, or you're at the 5?
Yeah, 2-point play.
So you're at the 2 here, and a lot of times this year the offense won that 4-3, so it was tight. It's not like we have a bad defense. So to see the offense coming out on top of our very good defense has to be, night and day versus what we saw a lot last year. The offense a little sluggish. So to see that, it's got to be a big step in the right direction this year.
Yeah, just, you want to compete every day, and I like the drive that we had and the intensity that we brought every day offensively. I think it feels different than last year with the vibe of the team offensively, from the leadership, coaches, the attitude. Everyone's bought into what we're doing, and it's good to be a part of a team like that.
Kenny, besides yourself, if you could point out like one person that you played with last year, you're playing with again this year, who kind of sticks out to you that's kind of made like a leap, just like you're making?
I'd probably say Calvin Austin. He just didn't have a chance to last year. I think he would have been a huge help for us, but now the fact that he's healthy, you see him at 100%, you see the kind of game-changing speed that he has that I feel like we were lacking a little bit last year. He's been a great addition to the offense. The way he comes to work every day, his effort, and his natural abilities, his talent. I mean, he's got a lot that you could like, as a quarterback and as an offense going into the season.
Do you think we'll see him like a good amount to start the season, or do you think we're going to see him mostly in the kick return, punt return part of the game?
No, I think he's a guy, obviously special teams, he's going to be a huge player for us, but offensively as well, in the pass game and certain different things that we do. I mean, he's going to be a player for us for sure this season.
Kenny, you mentioned something about how kind of it feels differently this year. I think anybody that has watched the Steelers these 3 preseason games would have to agree. I mean, the team looks different. They have this entirely different feel. The game looks like it's slowing down quite a bit for you. But a lot of it is just, it feels like the mentality of the team is different, which leads me to a very interesting thing that I want to ask you about. So last year, I was reading an article, and it said that when you were in high school, you would have your high school coach contact, I want to say it was the colleges you were going to throw for, and see if there were other more highly recruited players that were at those passing camps or whatever it was, and you wanted to make sure you were in those groups so that you could prove that you were better than them. Is that accurate? Did I read that correctly?
That is accurate. The second person asked me about that today, so I'm assuming somebody interviewed my high school coach recently.
That's funny.
Yeah, because I saw that and I'm like, that's an unbelievable mindset to have. And they say that, most teams are going to take on the identity of usually their quarterback or their head coach. If we're getting the mindset of that style, we'll bring the fight to you, included with the way Mike Tomlin coaches the guys. I mean, that's going to set the team up for the type of hunger I think we're seeing on the field right now.
Yeah, I think we have a great, coaching staff and the defense. The defense has that with the guys they have, and I want to bring that on offense, and I want to lead that charge on offense. So I think if we have 2 units that have that kind of mindset, we'll be a tough out. So, you want to be hard to kill. So if we have that mindset, at least we're starting somewhere. So, I think we definitely have it, and guys are hungry this season for sure.
Do you think Big Pickett, speaking on Big Pickett, that's the Pops, you think he instilled that in you when you were young? To go run towards competition, don't shy away from it?
I'd say so, man. He was a linebacker when he played. So I grew up, I wanted to play defense, and he was an All-American at Shippensburg where he played at, and my coach all the way up to high school. So I kind of just followed his lead really with everything, and he instilled that in me at a young age. So, yeah, I definitely have him to thank for that.
I would tell you this. I'll tell you this much. If you play defense, one guy you don't want to see with the ball coming at you, JJ coming at you.
Fullback, JJ? Fullback?
Fullback.
Yeah, fullback.
I don't know about that. So KP, I'll tell you something hilarious. So when Jerry came into town, we played that golf, and then it was the Cam Hayward softball event. So I picked Jerry up on a Wednesday. First thing he says, I pick him up. He's like, Kev, you got tobacco stores near you? Like, I need a vape. I got to get a vape. I'm like, yes, Jerry, we'll get you a vape. So we stop, pick him up a vape. This cartridge says, I want to say 7,500 hits on it. It might have been 75,000. Regardless, 24 hours later, he's like, shit, I need a new vape already.
That was the spot. There was a problem with the vape. It wasn't
JJ's secret stuff, man. That's what keeps him going.
That's it.
That is the JJ secret sauce.
It is. Kenny, I want to ask you about this. TJ Watt hurt a majority of the time last year. What's the, like, you see the numbers, the Steelers record when he's in, when he's not in. Is he that good? Is he really that good?
Yeah, he's that good. And you have to – the problem, like when you're facing TJ, your whole game plan revolves around him not being a game wrecker. If you put just a tackle on him or you try to block him with just a tight end, he's going to kill you every time. So you have to – slide protections his way. The run game you have to kind of design around him. So he just causes so many problems for offenses and game planning and things of that nature where, if you give him an opportunity to change the game, he's that kind of player. He's going to go do it. So he's best player I've ever played with for sure.
Kenny, when you talk about, feeling like the offense is better than it was last year, when you get to the line of scrimmage, this season, especially, the last couple of preseason games, is it feel a lot better than it was like last year? Even say week 17 or that Ravens game, you feel like you get to the line of scrimmage and the command is more there for you, and because the offense hasn't changed a whole lot. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to the same offense. So is it more that you just know where you want to go with the ball more pre-snap, or it's just slowed down for you, or it's just a combination of everything?
Yeah, I think everything. It's just like I'm finally able to, like, I have last year as a rookie, you kind of just want to go operate and get through your progressions and you're kind of playing by the book, I'd say. And now that the fact that I know where everyone's going to be, I understand the defenses that I'm playing, I'm kind of allowing myself to go be me and just play free. And it's fun. I'm getting back to playing the way I want to play. So I think a lot goes into it, but just the ownership of the offense, how comfortable I am with everybody, that all plays a huge part into it.
You know what bothers me, Kenny? I'll tell you this. What bothers me is this. Last year you have, and I know you don't pay too much attention to the Twitter and the Instagram and whatnot, but it bothers me that last year they shit on KP. They said his hands were too small. They said the double glove was no good. They said the visor, the helmet. And then you see KP this year. You see him in the offseason working hard every single day, training, only took a week off for the wedding, winning every preseason game, best passer rating out of any quarterback in preseason, and now they want to jump on the KP bandwagon. What do you got to say to that?
Oh, dude, you know how I am, man. I don't get too involved with it. There's so much left to go. We have a full season. Ask me at the end of the season. Hopefully we're sitting where we want to be sitting, and we can have a different kind of discussion, but, there's a lot of work to do until then.
Do you ever see the hate, Kenny? Like, genuinely, not like, I know the politically correct answer is no, but do you see it?
It's there. It's there, man. I've been called every name under the sun in this game, brother. I'll still go out there feeling I'm the best on Sundays. So I've been playing for a while now, having a good career in college and now getting my NFL career started. It comes with the position, comes with the territory. If you're mentally weak, this game will eat you alive. So yep. I feel like I'm in a good place mentally, and I'm excited to get going.
You gotta have that chip on the shoulder. Always.
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it.
I've had both chips.
This house is chipping away at you, though. I don't know.
Oh no, this house,
year, man.
Kenny, this is not only am I hemorrhaging money, I don't see a way where I'm paying this Amex off. No,
I'll text Big Cat. I'll see if Big Cat can help you out, man. You know he's good for it.
I mean, if Big Cat doesn't help, maybe in a couple of years, KP, JJ, here's $25 for you.
The problem is,
true.
Jerry, you don't work anymore. Kenny, so we were supposed to do an episode a week since like a month now. We did one episode a month ago. Can't even get a hold of Jerry. I mean, I'm getting texts like 3 days later responding to texts that were 10 text messages ago. The guy is buried under this house right now.
Tough, man. It's tough being JJ.
The house is bad. It's I'll tell you what though, I like the area I'm in. It's a nice area, quiet, good neighbors. I can't complain. It's just you never really think about, like, I thought I was coming into this house and it's like, okay, I'm going to change this, that, and that. It'll be done in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Nah, no shot. No shot.
You got a whole project, man. You'll be in that thing for probably a year fixing some stuff up.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Kenny, I have to ask you, give me a real answer on this. Is Penn State afraid to play Pitt? Like, this is a hot topic in Pittsburgh right now. This is like, and I see Narduzzi, talking his bit of shit. I'm a Penn State alum, so I need to know: are they afraid to play them? Like, do people really believe that, or it's just like fun to make fun of?
Yeah, money talks. It's whatever obviously the money's not looking right for one side or the other. I don't know. I think they'll figure it out. I think that game brings a lot of money in for both teams with TV and stuff. I think it's a great rivalry. It's good for the state, good for college football. So I think they'll bring it back soon. But I'm sure there's some kind of money. If I had to take a guess, a contract issue that they got to work out.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a team, Kenny? And I would say, I know the politically correct answer would be, oh yeah, week 1, 49ers. But is there a game on the schedule where you're like, I want to get them back from last year or something like that, or I want to make a statement, you know what I mean? Is there a team on the schedule that like jumps out to you?
Yeah, like you just said, but it's corny. But I mean, week 1, you're playing the number 1 defense. I mean, you're going against the best in the league from the previous season, a team that obviously was making a run, and then they had the injuries down the stretch. But how good of a team they are. So that I'm really been locked in on week 1, man. We have a tough division. Everyone knows how tough the AFC North is. Those games are always so competitive and physical, just from my first year of experience. So obviously the division games are also things that we look forward to.
What's your number 1 goal this season, Kenny? Like, obviously it's to win a Super Bowl, but are you an individual type of guy? Like, are there things that if they come, great, you don't really give a shit?
Dude, the Super Bowl is the only thing that's ever been on my mind since I got in the league. If you think about it, if we win a Super Bowl, 90% of the individual goals of each player on the team will be met. And you look at, we won a championship at Pitt. You look at all the success that each individual guy had. It's natural when you win championships that the individual performances are going to be what they are. So I think if we keep our mind on that, everyone will be happy with what happens individually.
Did you like the Steelers draft, Kenny? You liked it?
Yeah, man, I did. I thought we hit a lot of great needs for us offensively, defensively. I think they did a great job in free agency as well. So, we filled places that we felt like we needed to fill, and then we have some depth that in case things happen, there's guys that are going to step up that are ready to go. So, I think we have a really strong team this year.
If there's one part of your game you still feel like you want to improve on, Kenny, what would it be?
I think it's taking that next step. Like, I always talk about mastering the system. I think the system's always going to be evolving. I'm going to be wanting to add things. Coach is going to want to add things, and the mastery of that with our checks and knowing what every guy does really well and putting guys in those situations to succeed. And I'm having a really good time in camp, just kind of getting to know each receiver, each tight end, and we have great communication after plays of the kind of passes they like to catch of certain body types versus DBs. Like, there's so many things that go into it, man. Like, that's to be really good and understanding each guy is, I think, something that could help us go to that next level. So continuing to advance, knowing the system and our players.
Is there a guy that you developed that you feel like a better connection with offensively from last year to this year?
Yeah, definitely 18, Deontay. I think I didn't have a chance to rep with him as much, obviously coming from, working the card offense, just going right in there. I never had a chance to rep with Deontay, really, or George that much, or Pat, but I think I really have a good feel for him. And that relationship started in the offseason, throwing together, and then getting all the reps in camp. So I feel really good with how our progress is coming.
Kenny, something that's is interesting when you think about kind of the players that are on the offense. So you add a monster like Darnell Washington, but you also are going to be throwing, like you said, to Calvin Austin this season. Is there a different approach between throwing to a guy that's like 6'8" versus a guy that's 5'8" like a Calvin Austin? Are you approaching that differently, or it's kind of like put the ball on their hands and that's all you're shooting for?
No, you have to. Every guy's different. Their speed in and out of cuts are different. How they track the ball over the shoulder, what kind of passes they like. Like Darnell's a guy, if he's covered, he's not covered. You have the size to throw him open and give him the chance to go up and make plays. A guy like Calvin, like it's kind of the old saying, if he's even, he's leaving. If he's even with that DB, I'm putting it out there because he's going to be outrunning him. Like there's things that you can learn each guy and their body types and their attributes to help, get them open.
Yeah, it's like Georgie boy. You could put that ball 10 feet left. He's catching it.
Put it in his zip code, and George will come down with it.
Is this a playoff team, Kenny Pickett? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2023? Are they a playoff team?
Of course.
That's the goal. It's not just the playoffs. Like I said, I want to win a Super Bowl. So we have, I think we have the pieces in place to go do that. We got to go make plays. We got to put wins up. So that's definitely goals that we have set, but we got to go play.
Yeah, I feel like for me, just being me and Kevin, just being a diehard Steelers fan, it's like at the point now, I feel like we have a lot of really, really good pieces. I feel like we found the right guy at quarterback, weapons all over the field, offense, defense. Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in the NFL. Like, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, and granted the division is brutal, it would feel like a down year. I feel like, Kev, do you feel like that?
I mean, everything. This is the most obviously, Kenny. You were in college. You grew up an Eagles fan. I hate to say that, but pretty common knowledge. You grew up a Birds fan. In the last 10 years, is probably the most talented roster, top down. Like there are few weaknesses on this football team. It is the most talented team that we've seen in a decade. We're talking back to the Super Bowl to the Packers, I would say. So if it's not a playoff team, it's because we dropped the ball somewhere. Like, and I think anybody on that team would admit that this is you're stacked around the entire roster up and down.
Yeah, no, we're focused. We're hungry. We have all the pieces. Now we got to go do it. So that's the mission we got set for us.
What's Mike? I know from videos and what everybody sees online. He's the same way. Day one, camp to the end of the season. Is he like that same type of guy?
Yeah, he doesn't change, man. He's not a moving target, as he likes to say. Like he's consistent, day in, day out. His leadership, the energy. And like as a young quarterback, just seeing how he leads is something I've really, just watching every day and seeing how he goes about his business, man. There's no secret as to why he's been so successful. So, wouldn't want a different coach. Like he's the guy for Pittsburgh, and I'm proud to be his quarterback.
What would you say your favorite Tomlinism is, and one you just haven't understood yet?
Dude, so he used to say the nameless gray faces, and me and Mason Cole, when we first got here, thought he meant nameless great faces. So for a couple months we thought that, and then like we were at lunch and someone was like, no, like he means gray faces, and that was one that me and him were like, oh, like we had no idea. And then don't get caught up in the minutia. I guess that's like details, like small stuff. I didn't know that one for a while. I just kind of like let it roll up. But like one day I was in the team meeting, and after I looked it up on like Google, like what does minutia mean? Like there's sometimes you got to do some research with Coach. You're gonna miss some stuff, but he's always bringing new material, man. He keeps you on your toes.
There was a moment last year. Jerry and I were at the game. It was the Dolphins game. Fucking heartbreaker that we lost that game. But there's a viral video at the end of that where it's you and Coach T walking off the field, and like he's obviously you're fucking bummed. It sucked the way that it went down, and he's lifting your spirits up. He's like, "There's gonna be better days, Kenny. Like there's better days ahead." That to me is when people say that he's this great motivator coach, I think a lot of being a great head coach is figuring out a way to motivate each individual player. And all the guys that we've talked to on this show over the last year have said similar things. Like he just finds a way to connect with you on an individual level, and it makes you want to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was no one that wanted to win that game more than me, down the stretch there. Obviously I was, pissed and down about it, but like he just, I mean, I don't know. We kind of ended up just walking next to each other, and he said those things, and you look at how we came back after that bye week. It's
night and day.
He knows how to rally. He knows, night and day. He knows how to rally the guys, and we all, bought in, and it was great to, have a late playoff push, man. It came down to the wire. We came up short, but we know what we're capable of doing.
Yeah, Kenny, can you speak on Jaylen Warren? Because I feel like there's a lot of Steelers fans out there that really, really are starting to enjoy how he plays football. But like, what kind of person is he?
Oh man, Jay's the man. He is he has a lot of fun, man. I love talking to him. In the facility, obviously coming in together as rookies, we spent a lot of time doing like the rookie meetings and doing some stuff in the community. Jay's just a good guy, man. Like he shows up every day. He works hard. He doesn't say much. Every time he touches the ball, it seems like something good happens. Like I always want to try and get the ball in that guy's hands because he's a playmaker, and that's something I always push with, going into games. I'm like, hey, like what are 30s touches? How are we going to get this guy the football? Because he just continues to pop on tape and make plays. So love the work that he's put in. Just a humble guy and, great teammate. So
I feel like he compliments Najee too. Najee's more the bruising back and whatnot. And Jaylen compliments him so well.
Yeah, I think listen, they both do great things differently. And, Jaylen will get downhill too. That's the thing. He's tough to tackle. So I think they both do great things. And it's a great running back room now with Anthony McFarland as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Really proud of him and kind of had a talk with him in spring. And I told him, if he gets involved in the pass game and do different things, I think he really has a shot to be a player for us. And it was awesome to see the work and time that he put in and committed to it. And, now he's enjoying, being on the team and making the roster and now, finding a place for him on the team. So it's awesome.
One thing that you mentioned kind of, Jerry, is that a lot of Steelers fans, like Jerry and I live on Twitter, obviously. So like we see fucking everything that the fan base is saying. And a lot of people want to pin Najee against Jaylen Warren. He should be getting more touches than Najee, or this guy should be getting more touches. And I think that's where the fans are missing that to win the Super Bowl in the ultimate team game, it's going to take both of them. It's going to take both of their skill sets to accomplish it. And it brings me back to probably like 2 weeks ago, there was a video at camp where it was Dan Moore who's working after practice, like probably 40 minutes after practice with Broderick Jones, and they're working together, just the two of them on the field. And I think it harkens back to what you said earlier, that the team chemistry is different this year. When you have a guy like Dan Moore who you draft Broderick, we move up for him, you bring him in, there's an expectation that he is going to be the starting left tackle. To see Dan Moore taking time after practice to work with a guy that is by all intentions meant to be here to take his spot goes to show that everybody is buying into the same idea that it's going to take every one of us to win the Super Bowl. So that's why I will never say, oh, it should be Jaylen over Najee or shit like that, because it's going to take both of them. And I think you speak to that a lot when you say that, his skill set is also, very talented. We're going to need them both.
You're going to need all three. You're going to need 26 as well. Like they all do. First off, it's a long season. Second of all, they all three of them do different things really well. So it's up to us to get them the ball and what they do really well and put them in those positions to succeed. So we can be creative and do all certain, different types of things with them, which will be fun.
Kenny, can you guarantee the Steelers fans something this year?
Oh, boy.
Can we guarantee?
Jerry Don, let's be mindful here.
Let's say it. Can we guarantee a KP to Deontay Johnson touchdown this year? Can we guarantee one?
JJ, we're going to get him on the board, man. He's going to make plays. He's going to do his thing. Tay he's a really talented, really talented receiver, man. And I've loved working with him going into my second year now. He's going to make a ton of plays for us this year, so I'm pumped to get back out there with 18.
I see this a lot from different wide receivers. They speak so highly of him. They say he's one of the best route runners in the NFL.
Yeah, his stop-go ability is elite. Best I've been around. His in and out of breaks, his quickness, the way he gets separation. He is a guy that knows how to get open. So I 100% agree with that statement.
Part of the reason Jerry can't afford this house is because he went damn near bankrupt betting on Deontay to score a touchdown last season. every week. He's due. He's due, Kev. The guy is due.
I can't afford to gamble this year. I don't think I could afford it. I'm gonna have to take a year off. We'll regroup in 2024.
KP, who's your in franchise history? Who are your 5 all-time favorite Steelers?
5 all-time favorite Steelers. It's got to be Troy, Ben, Le'Veon, AB, and Heath. Those are all guys that I grew up watching. You know, my buddy was a huge Steelers fan, and he always had the games on. So if I was over his house and the Steelers were on, we were watching it. So just from growing up, those 5 are the first 5 that come to my head.
Yeah, Kevin likes to give me shit. I mean, for me, just me. This is my opinion. I think AB is top 5 wide receiver of all time.
He's just a fucking lunatic, man. It's just it breaks
I
my
think
heart the way he left. And like Jerry's like, he's my favorite Steeler, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, I get it, man. I just hate the way that he dogged us. He left the team in week 17. He didn't even play the game. Like if someone did that to you, Kenny, that would rub you a wrong way. That's just how it goes.
He's one of the best ever.
Oh, without a doubt.
He's
without a
the
doubt.
best ever. Watching his tape, man. Unbelievable player. I mean, there's arguments for him to say he's one of the best ever. You know, just crazy talented, just technician, explosive, unbelievable player.
Yeah, and people always say this about him. He was the hardest worker on the team every year. He was the hardest worker. You know, yeah. Steelers fans, some of them like to throw shade on him and whatnot, and I get it. But like, think about all the great moments as Steelers fans that we got to see AB on the field, which I really think you're going to see with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. I really do. I feel like those 2 guys, that connection this year and the upcoming years is going to be really, really special.
Yeah, man. Two great players, complement each other well. You know, could have them on same side of the field, split them on either side of the field. It's going to cause problems. So two great players for us.
Kenny, you feel like the middle of the field is going to be used a little bit more this year than it had been in I mean, let's be honest, since probably 2016, 2015, the Steelers have hardly even sniffed the middle of the field. And that's not you. That dates back, even when 7 was in his prime. The middle of the field, we hardly ever saw it used. You feel like that's something that you're going to look to try and attack more this season?
I think so. I mean, it's just kind of concepts and getting guys out there. And I think, we showed it more in camp this year in preseason. 88 is going to be a big driver of that, having Pat work in the middle of the field. Allen Robinson was a huge addition that's going to work the middle of the field, a third down, red zone type guy that's really reliable for us. Great leader, a huge leader in that receiver room. So I think, we have pieces now that we can, get creative and do some different things over the middle.
Yeah, I think Allen, he was I feel like he was bought in, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but, Deontay's a little bit older than George. George is a really young guy, kind of was bought in to be that, reliable receiver, but at the same time, a guy that's a veteran and could, guide these guys.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football, man. He's going into his 10th year, so he's got a lot of experience that these guys can, it's little things in the meeting room and warm-ups. It's those little things that help guys take their game to the next level. So I think he's another great addition, great leader on offense that's going to help us get there.
Kenny, here's one for you.
Last one, boys. My food's been waiting outside. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. So it's Championship Sunday. You have your headphones on. 15 minutes before we take the field, playing at home, playing for a trip to the Super Bowl. What's in the headphones? What's Kenny Pickett listening to before he takes the field?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you guys with this. I don't even listen to music on game day.
Wow. At all? Not at all?
None.
Wow.
None. My position, I've learned I need to be as flatline as possible. I play the best that way. Kind of no emotion, a little like out of body type feeling where I'm just so locked into what I'm doing and what the game plan is, and I don't listen to anything.
I feel bad now because if Kenny remembers, a couple weeks ago, I sent him a couple songs, some pregame music.
Yeah, he did. I liked him. I'm like, I appreciate it, JJ, but those aren't going to get played for me on Sundays.
It's cold-hearted.
What are you going to do? It is what it is. Thank you, Kenny.
You got it, man. You got it, guys.
Hey, KP, we appreciate it. We'll see you again. Good luck this year, brother. Good luck.
Appreciate it, boys.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.